We seem to be streaming. So let me pull up the other biz. It's I guess we got opening bits, plenty of opening bits. Pull up.
What my news again?
Mario Tennis Nerf.
Sure.
And Jackbox Party Pack thing. The Overwatch League thing. Trogdor. That's enough. That's plenty.
We got more than enough.
Especially because I think we had a lot to say about PUBG too. Whoop. All right.
Well, not that much. I mean, it's not. Despite being a good game, there's actually not too much to say about it because it doesn't have. It's pretty simple.
I got a lot to say about it. There's a lot of key bindings that I didn't bind until I played the game enough and realized why I needed them.
You gotta be a default person like me.
What key do you hit to hold your breath? Did you even look that up?
There's a hold breath button?
Yeah.
Well, fuck that. I'm not doing that. Because
How about changing the ranging on your scope?
If you
not the zoom level, but the distance level. How far?
While it's zoomed in, you can use page up and page down.
Yep, that is true.
I think that's the button.
Do you know how to figure out what to set it to?
No, I don't give a shit. I just leave it.
You know what that means? If you're too far away or too close, you'll guaranteed miss.
Yeah, you know what? I just aim higher or lower on my next shot. You think even if I did set it, how would I know what to set it to based on how far away the person is?
Well, I've noticed most people who kill me, when I look at the death cam, they spot me, and I'm like doing something, and then they like look around, see if there's anyone else, then they like set up and like, and then headshot. That's the majority of my deaths.
They must know something. I don't know.
Yeah.
How to even if I knew if he's this far away, then I need to aim it higher or lower. How do I know how far away you are?
And I looked online. You know what the answer is? Gotta get a fucking sense for it like it's a real gun. It's realistic.
Yeah, so I don't like that part.
I learned that stuff.
I want someone to just make PUBG and just
I learned that stuff a little bit
Counter-Strike.
as a kid shooting rifles in like Cub Scouts. But
that's really one of my only complaints with the game is I just wish the weapons were more Counter-Strikey and less stupid military fanboy.
Play Fortnite.
Well, Fortnite takes it too far. Fortnite's like TF2.
Yeah, you're not gonna find the middle ground between
Counter-Strike is the middle ground. Just make Counter-Strike on a giant map where you fight to one.
I find when I'm in close quarters combat with someone, like Counter-Strike style, I almost always win. Like now. Like I'll fuck them up.
I mean, most of the damage I do is SMGs at short range.
Yep.
I don't have any problem with that.
I don't try to snipe anymore. I try to sneak in close and just open up on people with like,
Yeah, no, I don't have no problem with that. I only have problems, because
Yeah.
I have no idea what all the weapon parts do. I just attach shit. I figure, well, they don't make my gun worse. I'll just put on as many as I can.
I attach everything I get that fits any gun I'm carrying.
That's pretty much it, yeah. But then sometimes it's like, all right, well, there's a quick draw mag. It's like, when am I going to reload in a fight? I go down before I'm going to reload.
I usually take the holographic scope instead of like a 2 or 3x
I can't tell the difference between the holograph and the red dot.
I like the holograph a lot.
I can't tell the difference.
I tend to get a lot more kills if I got that holograph. All right, I'll start this thing.
If I get a 4x, 6x, 8x scope, I mostly use it just for looking what's going on over
there.
I don't use it.
Like, are there people over there? Yes, there's people over there.
Let me see. Is anyone, maybe I'll try to shoot someone.
Yep.
Because, they let you put it on guns that are not sniper rifles.
Yep.
Like, I'll put it on an AK. It's like, well, even if I zoom in, I can't hit anyone with this at 6x.
The 2x is good, though, for that. All right.
I don't see a 2x too often.
The 2 or 3 is what I usually find.
I never even seen a 3. I thought it was 2, 4, 6, 8.
Maybe I'm thinking of 4. Anyway, I find only, small ones.
Yeah, usually 4 is the most common one that I see.
2 is definitely the most common I've run into.
But I've seen... I'm sure 2 probably is the one. I feel like I see 4 more often.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what I usually see is...
I've seen twice.
You know what the most common is watching my death cam.
Yeah.
I see that more than I see anything.
See that. Walk around and loot some buildings and then suddenly die.
Yep, maybe kill one person along the way. All right. It's Tuesday, July 17th, 2018. I'm Rim.
I'm Scott.
And this is Geek Nights. Tonight, we're talking about PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, because we are in no way late to this party. You kids got to understand that the older you get, the later you're going to be to every party.
No, you just don't got time for that action.
Yeah.
Even Counter-Strike, I didn't play till beta 8. something like that. 6. I don't even know. So
I started playing.
Somebody was playing Counter-Strike before me.
I was playing Counter-Strike before the P90, but not that long before the P90. I remember when
playing it before the for sure.
I remember when they added the P90.
I remember when they added the
And then I remember when the P90 was ridiculously overpowered, and then it got nerfed.
I remember that also, because P90 was my favorite.
It was a good time, that P90. I remember those days. Those were good days.
Yeah.
Good
P90
days.
is like the #1 gun of gun fetish fanboys.
Yeah, I mean, gunslinger girls, I think.
Whenever I see like some, like especially anime, but like
Animes-
any sort of
animes too.
military fanboy stuff, it's always P90.
It's always that bullpup. Or, the one from Counter-Strike, the, oh God, I don't remember what it was called. The Starog.
The AUG.
It's either the Starog.
You can get an AUG in PUBG in a crate.
Yeah?
I've seen one.
I've never gotten an AUG.
I let the other guy have it because there's no point in me taking it, but
I usually get the Scar. Like, that's the weapon I end up using the most.
I actually rarely see that.
I find it a lot. It's not great. Like, I don't like it, but I end up with it a lot to the point that I think about it. Last time I saw it, I looked at it, I was like, yeah, you know what? Nah, I'll pick up the shotgun instead. And that, let me tell you, that worked not at all.
No.
Fuck shotguns.
Shotguns are worthless.
Shotguns. Anyway, that's the main bit when we talk about the fact that we're playing PUBG. But we got some news because it's Tuesday. It's gaming day.
All right, so Mario Tennis is out, and it's got some problems.
Yeah,
Mario
this is the second weakest Mario Tennis offering from Nintendo.
So it has a lot of. It's like it's better than it is Mario Tennis, right?
Yep.
But there's a lot of.
It's not the bullshit DS one. It's real.
There's a lot of things they messed up. I'm sure we'll review it at some point. But I'll just talk about the news here. The news being that they are going to actually update it, and they're going to nerf Bowser Jr., who is OP.
Yep.
And they're going to adjust the way the trick shot works. Because right now, you can basically just keep trick shotting over and over, always return the ball no matter what.
With the trick shot no matter what.
And that will fill up your charge meter to max. And then you can use the power shot and then repeat using the trick shot again. And that's pretty much the strategy for winning. It's similar to snaking in Mario Kart.
It's basically the exact same problem. It's not fun. Like, trick shots are not that fun. Like, I don't really like them, actually.
You can play in the mode that has no meter, and it removes the trick shot.
Yeah. I actually kind of feel like...
The thing is, the problem with that mode that I found is that chain jump and certain characters are actually more powerful because without some sort of super shot or zone shot, it's like they can almost always get to the ball and return it.
Yeah.
And, with relative ease.
But the trouble is, and I even ran into this, I haven't even played Kid Koopa because even though he's like my character, and I love the shit out of that kid, I don't like him being in the stupid clown car. Like, I don't like the aesthetic, so I ended up playing Rosalina instead.
I play.
As you do.
Who is also an OP character with these nasty hooks and shit.
Yeah. Man,
Which has always been the case in Mario Tennis.
I still feel
Even in Mario Tennis for N64, Boo is like tricky, and he hits the ball, it curves like a motherfucker.
I do miss older Mario Tennises though. Like,
I play older Mario Tennis.
I feel like as our friend group, that's probably what we should do.
I have it. We can just play it anytime.
But yeah, this is interesting for a bunch of reasons. So one, obviously the game needed to be nerfed like that. Like, there's problems with the game's core design, but why didn't Nintendo pick up on that before they released the game?
This game is, you can just sort of tell that it was obviously released too soon. They sort of rushed it out.
There were like missing textures and all this shit that had to get patched.
It's very unlike Nintendo to put out a product like this.
I mean, when we played that preview, like, it really didn't feel good. No. And it had problems. And like the netcode doesn't really work. Like, playing multiplayer.
I wouldn't have bought it, but I
pre-ordered it and forgot.
Well, I pre-ordered. The reason I bought it was because the demo, even though it had some problems, I wasn't going to play online. Those are online problems mostly. I was like, oh, well, the tennis part is still good. I'm going to play this locally, so I don't care. And then when I actually got it, I found out you couldn't even play like actual tennis.
Yeah, so we'll talk about a full review, but the other problems with the game, aside from the fact that Nintendo clearly didn't playtest this with anyone who tried to be good at the game at all. This isn't like Overwatch where like someone figures out a very difficult strategy and it becomes the new meta over time. This was like, day one, you can just snake and it's invincible, and if you don't snake, you lose. But aside from that, like, you can't actually play real matches of tennis with like multiple sets.
You can either play like this sort of tiebreaker only quick match,
like not even normal tennis scoring,
or you can basically play this one set match where it's like you get 2 games and then you win.
It ends so fast.
You can't play like a 5-set match and like feel the other player out and anything like that.
Yeah, like it's really actually not fun. And as much as that seems like a really like minor point, it actually really, really makes playing local multiplayer not fun.
If I had known you couldn't play like 5 sets, I thought I would even question that. Like, oh, of course, it's Mario Tennis. You can be able to play a match of tennis. If I would have known you couldn't play a match of tennis, I wouldn't have bought it.
Yep.
But there was no way to know that. I guess I could have waited one day instead of pre-ordering. I could have waited a day and then bought it.
Yep. I too was over optimistic.
It was just inconceivable that you would not be able to play a tennis match.
Yep.
That'd be like if you bought a racing game and it only had 1-lap races and you couldn't do a 3-lap race.
Because like Nintendo always...
It's like it wouldn't be conceivable that would be...
You also can't pick the map.
Yeah.
But I guess I assumed that Nintendo would have the problems they always have, meaning online play is garbage, never do it, and there'd be some like single-player mode I won't care about. And those things were true, but on top of that... Like, nothing else really works
That's
that
another
well.
thing. Is like, I actually like the single-player mode in old Mario Tennises because it was literally just
play tennis
against the computer and learn and get better at playing tennis until you can beat the hardest AI. Whereas now, the single-player mode is like this adventure with all these garbage challenges in it that are annoying as fuck, and I quit after, like, one try.
Like, I guess ostensibly they make you... Because the real skill in the game, as it is today, is one, you have to trick shot literally every shot, which they're going to hopefully fix. Yeah. But two, you have to return fancy shots with semi-frame perfect timing, like this very particular timing. And you have to get really good at that. But all the single player doesn't really make you good at that. It makes you good at that in these weird contrived situations. And there isn't really a good single player against just like normal tennis. And online
multiplayer against the hardest AI in some very, very short games and just play lots of them.
But that's not fun. And then, or playing local multiplayer also was actually really hard to make work. Like, we had a lot of trouble getting the right controllers, and Nintendo really just was sloppy in this game to a degree that I'm not pre-ordering any more first-party games.
I'm going to wait one day.
Yep.
At least. Except for Metroid Prime 4. That's a shoe. That's a shoe-in.
I don't know. I'm going to wait.
How could Metroid Prime 4 not be a shoe-in?
I'm going to let you play it for a few days, and I'm going to see what you say.
All right. Because it's me Metroid Prime.
I'm a little worried about this game.
You didn't play the other Metroid Primes.
No.
So what do you... Well, you don't need to play the new one.
Yeah, maybe I want to play the new one.
Why would you play one you haven't played the other one?
Why not? It might be better. I mean, I skipped a whole bunch of Zeldas, and then I played Breath of the Wild, and it was great. I don't feel like I need to play Skyward Sword.
No, but, well, think about this. You're like, oh, I played Breath of the Wild. It was great. Yeah, guess what? You missed out on a whole bunch of great.
I mean, I didn't even finish Twilight Princess because I got bored about a third of the way through.
I mean, it wasn't as great, but it
wasn't that fun.
It's still good.
The fact that I got bored during it was enough to tell me that it wasn't for me. Breath of the Wild, I feel like I'm going to play again. But anyway, Mario Tennis has a lot of problems. Nintendo didn't, like, play test it. They've missed all these...
We're talking about too much Mario Tennis. Let's get
obvious issues, and...
We'll do an episode on Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
You can stop talking about Mario Tennis.
So, Jackbox Party Pack 5.
It's coming. They're going to make it. And so far, they've revealed one of the games that's going to be in it. It's a rapping game. And the way it works is this. You put in a word, any freaking word you want, and then it puts your word that you chose at the end of a rap phrase that it is generated by the game. And then you must then enter an entire rap phrase that rhymes with the last word of your new rap phrase that you write in entirety must rhyme with the single word that was put at the end of a random previous phrase.
I'm feeling that. I like the Jackbox games.
And then a text-to-speech thing does the rap in a hilarious way, and then I think there's some sort of voting on whose is the best or whatever.
Because originally, like, there's a bunch of different ways to play these Jackbox games, and obviously half of the Party Pack games are just garbage.
Yes.
But the ones that are good, it seems like
you're paying for what they're basically throwing darts at the wall, and you're buying all the darts, and half of them hit.
Yep. But the ones that are the most fun seem to be the ones like this, where they basically are enough context and prompting to make a situation that is both competitive, but more importantly, is just an excuse for you to be funny with all your friends. And it guides your less funny friends into being more funny. I feel like this rap battle is going to be right in the same feel as TKO, which is still the pinnacle of Jackbox. See, I'll probably just buy it. I just buy every Jackbox game. So Overwatch League playoffs weren't just on the internet. They're also on something called Disney XD.
That's the Disney Channel that shows cartoons and shit.
Yeah. I guess I didn't actually know that existed still.
That's where, like, there's Disney Channel and then there's Disney XD. It's a cable channel where they show cartoons.
I'm shocked.
That is where Gravity Falls was aired.
Oh, wow. No, but as far as I knew, Gravity Falls was aired on this pirate ship somewhere.
It was aired on Disney XD.
I mean, these days...
So Gravity Falls and Overwatch League are on the same channel.
Yeah, which is weird. But the interesting news here is that the Overwatch League playoffs were just on Disney XD.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a shit ton of people watching.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was the number here?
It was the highest ratings for Disney XD.
127,000 viewers.
That's like the numbers you see on Twitch.
Yeah, Twitch had about 100,000 users.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is that, as far as I can tell, I read a bunch of like other people talking about this because I had no idea until this news that they put this on TV anyway.
I didn't either.
And yeah, apparently that many people watched it there, despite there being basically no advertising whatsoever about it being there.
Well, I mean, probably people flipped through the channels and saw Overwatch and were like, holy shit.
Yeah. When is someone going to be putting like Fortnite on a network like this? Because Fortnite is the most popular thing ever.
I'm surprised it isn't.
Yeah. I'm actually really surprised. Fortnite could just be on like primetime TV, I think, at this point.
Probably.
So I guess there are a lot of kids who just have cable still and will watch esports on cable instead of on Twitch for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I am curious about...
Or maybe there's kids who play video games on their PlayStations or their Switches or whatever.
And who don't know about Twitch?
They're not Twitch YouTube. They're not technically advanced.
You know what it could be like? It could be like...
They might not even have a PC. They maybe have a phone or a tablet only.
It might be the demo... Like, look at the demographic of people who go to mid-tier local conventions. Like, they don't know that PAX even exists. Mm-hmm. They go to a local gaming con and that's it. So if like a game studio goes to that gaming con and does a panel, that is like they would never encounter that otherwise, even though it's just literally streaming on Twitch somewhere. So maybe it's that. This is fascinating that this demographic exists in the numbers that it does. I greatly underestimated the demand for esports on cable, especially on Disney XD.
Mm-hmm.
So in some other news, Trogdor is a fantastic thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I want to make that very clear.
It burninates the countryside.
We've been fans...
And those horrible peasants and cottages.
I mean, Scott and I, it's not an exaggeration to say that we were literally fans of Trogdor from his inception.
Yes. I saw Trogdor the day he was released to the internet.
We were already...
I was burninated.
We were already pretty deep into the Brothers Chaps fandom well before Trogdor existed.
Correct.
So this Kickstarter game is legit. Like, Homestar Runners actually had a pretty big renaissance if you haven't been paying attention.
They're trying hard.
Yeah, but it's kind of working.
Yeah,
like
a little bit.
They have maintained a pretty sizable fandom, despite the fact that the type of humor that was originally Homestar Runner was from a much earlier time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean... I don't watch any new Homestar Runner.
No.
But I
follow Strong Bet on Twitter.
But I watch, actually a few weeks ago, I ended up watching the Ukulele.
Okay.
I just watched an old Homestar Runner. And it was about, in terms of modern comedy sensibilities, it was basically on the level of,
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's still there. But they made a board game.
Tabletop game is Trogdor, the board game. And basically, this board game is on Kickstarter. You can pre-order it and get either the wooden meeples or the plastic miniatures.
It's already like way over double its goal. Like it's still going up.
And the game seems mediocre. It's a game where basically it's a co-op game. You take turns controlling Trogdor the Burninator, trying to burninate the peasants and the thatch roof cottages and all the tiles on the board. And meanwhile, there's some, I guess, AI controlled knights and peasants who make things less burninated.
Yep.
And it's co-op. So
I like how there's a peasant meeple and then there's a fire thing to put on the peasant meeple.
Yeah, so it's like the theme of this game is hilarious and great. The actual game does not appear to be good, so there's no reason to buy it or play it. Just laugh at the video of it and you're good to go.
I guess board games are now on the level of like when all the great graphics, literally no gameplay era of PC gaming.
Yes, pretty
occurred.
much. It's been going on for like a couple years now already, at least. But
the Ghostbusters Kickstarter game was like the real genesis of this era.
Even before then, but like people now, especially Kickstarter, there's a big, faction of the board game community, especially online, where they really, like, they're board game collectors. They care about miniatures. They care about the quality of the cardboard. They're putting shit in sleeves. Like,
but more importantly,
maybe they do play games, but they actually aren't super deep into playing games and game mechanics and winning in competition.
Well,
like
there's a parallel thing going on that I've been reading a lot about around how a huge percentage of people who buy tabletop games today in this like niche extended market, core market, like not mass market. We're not talking about that, not monopoly. But a huge percentage of even people who do care about game mechanics buy games and literally never bring them to the table. And there's a lot of reasons why. We even did a PAX panel on it once.
I have one game on my shelf I haven't played.
I, at one point, bought a copy of Castles of Burgundy because it was on super sale, only to discover that not only did I already own Castles of Burgundy, but it was still in its shrink wrap in my closet. So if anyone wants a copy of Castles of Burgundy, I accidentally bought another one.
All right, well.
So this is a thing, but the confluence of people don't actually get games to the table that often, and people want to collect makes a perfect storm of games with literally garbage game mechanics, and it does not matter to the primary
there are
demographic.
Tons and tons of games coming out these days that are just all physically fancy, but don't have much game going on. Because that's the hard part. It's like if you told me, Scott, make a board game, but what matters most is the fancy pieces and the rules don't matter, I'd be like, well, roll and move. And let's make some fancy miniatures.
We're going to have like a 4-pound, like lead-filled pewter miniature of the Baron Harkonnen.
Right. It's like,
that's gonna be
it's so
there.
easy. It's a piece of cake. Right now it's like, okay, make a game that's actually good.
Yep. This game comes with an entire wooden ship.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, it's easy to make a game that is physically fancy.
What's the game? It's basically just Mousetrap.
So there's a lot of games like that out these days, and there's a lot of people who are into that, and I feel like they're at, even though they're in the same community space, they're actually completely have nothing in common with people actually playing.
It's interesting.
Games.
There's a neat way to tell these games and like to tell this demographic, because there's games you see at PAX that are demoed a lot, but you very rarely.
What's the card one, or the music card one?
Oh God,
with the machine.
I cared so little about that game that I'd literally
the
forgotten
one the
name
Harmonix made.
Yeah, honestly,
the one that was the Omegathon final that was garbage.
That was
Drop Mix.
Yep, Drop Mix was the second
That's
worst.
the epitome of
it was the second worst Omegathon finale in PAX history.
It's like talk about no game, but all kinds of fancy shit.
Because the only PAX Omegathon finale that was worse than that one was the one that actually failed.
Yep.
Even though that one would have been good if it hadn't failed. But it failed, so it failed. It was the worst one. But you see games like this. I always go back to that Ghostbusters game, but I'm not even going to bother using that as the example anymore because there's so many games like it. But you can tell because they have a big Kickstarter, they have tons of sales, a lot of people know about the game, and the games are very highly reviewed, but you literally never see them on the table at a PAX.
Well, just look on the shelf at the game store and you can see all these fancy schmancy games and stuff, but it's like the games that actually get played a lot are, back in the olden days, right? Olden days.
Yeah.
It's like people play fucking Settlers and Carcassonne and Ticket to Ride, which are way, way, way less fancy, but get played a lot more.
Yep. But I do feel like part of this is a response to the fact that, I hate to say this, the tabletop market is pretty saturated already, and the rate of games being released, both from indies and big publishers, is only accelerating. And the skill game space is definitely like super saturated right now. And the Euros are super saturated. This space of games that are primarily aimed at collectors and IP is probably way easier to grow for a lot of reasons.
Well, I mean, they're making what sells.
Yeah. But I feel like these are selling to, they're
People
expanding.
who actually play games don't buy a lot of games. They buy a few games and play them.
There are some people who play games and buy a lot of games.
Some.
Yeah.
But not many. Not enough to build a business around.
Yeah, definitely not. All right. Oh, Luke, there's people watching the stream. There's like 11 people in there.
Why? Go home.
You know why I'm wearing a cap? Because I got rained to hell on the way home. Because when I woke up, it was like 80 degrees and sunny and not a cloud in the sky. And I didn't even think to look at the weather.
I look at the weather every morning, no matter what. I look at the weather like multiple times a day religiously.
So this shirt is only in the few minutes before we did the show did it actually dry. I'm soaking wet. And let's see. Yep, Pat knew it was drop mix, but we didn't actually. I should have looked at the chat. He would have reminded us. It didn't sound stupid. Well,
I remembered it.
Eventually you remembered it. You like my hat? Two people are commenting on the hat. Okay.
Don't they? You must have something better to do than look at Rim's hat and go somewhere and do something.
All right.
Go make a crappy game with really fancy pieces that will sell and make you money. That'll be a more productive use of your time.
I feel like with our Grease the Wheels game, though, the way to go is the game has to be really simple but really polished. But I think we also need to go all out on the theme, like Tammany Hall style. Like
there's already a game called Tammany Hall. I haven't.
Yeah, I'm talking that style, that art, like Tammany Hall era political cartoon art. All right, let's get into the main bit. But anyway, things of the day. So I am actually a big fan of the American national anthem, but not for the reasons you'd think.
No, it's awful.
I like it because it's awful.
Okay.
Kind of like, imagine a sci-fi or a fantasy world where there's like some Byzantine-style, archaic, ancient civilization that has like traditions and weird stuff that go beyond memory and beyond recorded history. And they have weird old rituals that no one knows where they came from. I feel like singing the American national anthem is going to be that if America survives another 1,000 years. Our national anthem is fucking awful. The lyrics are awful. If you get past the first verse, they get pretty fucking racist.
Yeah, then no one sings that part because no one knows it. But it keeps going after the part that people sing.
And it's not good.
And it's racist past that part.
Yep. It's racist and it has other problems.
Yeah.
Also, if you know anything about music, it's weird. And it's really hard to sing.
Right, well, they shoehorned some poem that was not musical into a song.
Yep. But also,
it wasn't like they had a song and then wrote lyrics. They had lyrics that were whatever, and they refused to change those at all.
So in high school, I used to do a lot of arrangement. Just like I used to arrange songs, like partly sometimes for money, sometimes for class, whatever. But when you're arranging songs for people to sing, not even just writing them, just arranging them, like writing the parts, however you're going to do it, you take into account that most humans sing in a set range of notes, and not many people can sing outside of those ranges well, and you fatigue people who try to sing outside of those ranges. You don't generally write a vocal part that crosses all these ranges.
Well, I mean, you might do that if you know that, I'm writing this song for such and such singer who has a mad range. I can make this song balls out, and you can say, oh, I'm writing this song.
But the U.S. national anthem is like the opera in The Fifth Element. Like, normal humans cannot fucking sing this song.
Nope.
And even worse, even if you, like, have a decent range, if you're not a professional, like, say you're just asked to, like, you can sing okay, and you're asked to sing the national anthem at, like, your high school sports ball game. Unless you're a, like, trained musician as opposed to someone who knows how to sing, you'll even make a mistake of you'll start to sing in your national register. Oh, say, like that. That'll already start you too high to ever even have a chance of hitting those later notes.
You'll notice a lot if you go to like baseball games or at big stadiums or things like that where there's people singing. They start low.
Yep, you got to start low. Start lower than you are comfortable. But anyway, to not belabor the point, this video in very good detail explains why it is so hard to sing, why so many people forget the lyrics. It has a compilation of some of the most amazing fails in the history of people singing the national anthem. And it's just a great video. I love the fact that our national anthem is so utterly representative of how archaic and fucked up our government is. And I'll just leave it at that.
If you take control of the government, you can change the national anthem.
I feel like we can only change the national anthem if we fix our government by fundamentally restructuring it. And I feel like our penance is that we got to keep this thing as long as our government works the way it does. But also, I kind of like...
Changing it doesn't seem to be an issue. We can change it when you change the daily savings.
But I do like the idea that it's almost like this test, like, can the Lord who's going to take over the space whatever in the future, they have to pass the archaic test of singing the ancient song.
No.
So what do you got for me?
So the Tour de France is happening right now.
Yep.
And, even though I like bicycling, watching bicycle racing is not super exciting because it's like, okay, it's people bicycling, whatever. But it's still cool, you know, because it's people bicycling. But yeah, because the Tour de France, they basically bike everywhere in France. It's crazy how far they bike and how high they bike. It's insane. And since you're biking everywhere, you're just biking on the fucking road, mountain roads here, past a farm there, and in a city here.
Like random person just hanging out, picnicking, and like watches you go by.
Yeah, you know, so, you know, things can happen, right? It's not like there's a wall around all the roads in France while this race happens. So somebody, and this is not the first person to do this, but I think it's the first person to do it at the Tour de France, and I think someone else did it at a different bike race, and I think it was Tour de Pologne, but anyway, I saw it on YouTube. Here, this person, while the Tour de France peloton is going by this road, they come down the hill on a mountain bike and jump over the Tour de France.
Now, I will point something out as a mountain biker. This is probably, I mean, I don't know exactly what he had set up
I'm sure they
there.
practiced it and set it up and everything.
This is actually way less dangerous than you might expect, assuming the person doing it knows what they're doing.
Right,
because
if the person practiced, they knew that they could make this jump. They'd done it before. They knew they would clear over the riders.
Yeah, because on a mountain bike, like, you know your speed.
You can do it very consistently.
Yeah.
It's not like some mega jump where there's, you know, like big margins, right? It's like, if you practice this, you're going to make it.
Yeah.
But if they had fucked up, which is still a non-zero chance, and gone right into all those, that would have been, woo.
I think the most likely things they would have fucked up would be, they would still land in the same place that they landed, because they're going to land in the same place no matter what, but they would have landed sideways or upside down and killed themselves.
Well, it's possible they could have, like, if they had hit the brakes and slowed down, they could have landed short. But
yeah.
You'd have to be, if you practiced that much, you would not do that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the way you mountain bike is you basically do the same trail over and over again. Like, you do it slow and learn it, and just like, you know, car racing, you memorize a route and you do it consistently and increase your time or decrease your times. So while this isn't as dangerous as it looks, it is still dangerous, and I'm not saying you should do this.
No, but you can also notice the riders in the Tour, they don't slow down for shit.
No.
They don't even flinch. They just keep on going.
This is one of those things where because, no harm, no foul, because no one was hurt, this is awesome. If someone had gotten hurt other than the person doing the stunts, I would have been way less cool with this.
Totally different news.
Yeah.
Thing of
so,
the day.
In a related thing of the day, because there was another video.
Oh, no.
Full disclosure, if you watch this video, she is fine. Like, I double-checked that the person in this video...
This is not a snuff film?
This is not a snuff film. It very likely could
again. It's just an owned video?
So... this person, this was sold to me by Fark as someone tried to ride over a drawbridge as it was opening.
That is not the case.
Well, it technically is the case.
No.
Technically, the drawbridge is opening, and this person attempts to bike over the drawbridge while it's opening. That is technically true. However, it is not an awesome Blues Brothers moment. This person is either drunk or stupid. It's really hard to tell. I suspect they might actually be stupid. It kind of looks like they were looking at their phone, but basically they bump into the guard arm that is down telling you, yo, don't go over this bridge.
It looks like they clearly intentionally go between them.
Yeah, but they mess up and hit them on the way.
Yeah.
And then they just turn sideways and literally just bike into this hole and disappear. The hole that the drawbridge is about to crush.
Yeah, not the hole in between the two pieces of road.
Yeah, not the cool part.
The one at the bottom where that's because the road is lifting up. It's like at the bottom of the lifting road, a space is appearing, and they go into that space.
And then they slowly sink into it.
And then you don't see what happens after that.
Well, if you watch, so the video is really long, but basically, eventually you see a bunch of people walk over and be like, whoa, and slowly help the person out of the hole. The drawbridges like this usually have a human controlling them. Like, there's usually a tower nearby.
Yeah,
and
this
literally
isn't some automatic thing that's like on a schedule, right?
Yeah.
It's just there's a human being who's like sitting in a tower opening the thing.
The only reason this person is fine is that the person who controlled the bridge saw them bike into it and basically hit a button to stop the bridge from moving, which actually was...
It seemed to lift up enough for the boat to get through.
Yeah, which is real lucky, because... I could imagine a situation far worse where the boat is going to crash into the bridge and the person in the control tower...
As a literal trolley problem. They had to either kill the person who...
Or let a possibly horrific accident happen with the boat.
Kill someone on the boat, probably.
Because boats can't slow down. There aren't just boat brakes.
No, there are not boat brakes.
It's not like a car brake.
No.
So yeah, again, I only use this as my second thing of the day because I confirmed that the person was fine. She had minor injuries. I guess the moral is, if you're gonna bike somewhere stupid...
If a thing comes down and says, drawbridge, train tracks, do not go, stop, 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 oh my God, don't fucking go!
Oh, no, more importantly, if you're gonna bike somewhere you're not supposed to bike, practice it, be good at it, and commit to it like the person who jumped over the Tour de France.
There were no red lights saying Tour de France, do not jump.
Yeah, there was a conceptual red light, because there is a voice of the heavens that's at least saying, you know, it's probably a bad idea what you're about to do, jumping over the Tour de France. Like, do not do this. But if you're going to do this, at least commit to it. Don't just, like, derp into a pit and almost die.
Well, I think the thing is, the person who jumped over the Tour de France, I think they may have spent a night or so in jail. I think the person who fell into the drawbridge
should have also spent a night in jail.
May have spent a night in the hospital.
Yeah.
So don't go to either. They're not good places to be.
Yeah, but if you're gonna go to jail, at least do it for something awesome that didn't hurt anyone.
All right.
All right. Let's see. In the meta moment, Kineticon, which we were not at for the first time in like more than 10 years.
Too many years.
So we went to Kineticon for a decade plus, and we ran the entire panels department, like this entire goddamn floor, for the better part of a decade. And we passed the torch. We couldn't do it anymore. We weren't there this year.
I still want to go to Hartford. It's far away.
Yeah.
It's a perfectly good summer weekend. I got stuff to do.
I do want to return to Kineticon to do panels again, because I actually really like doing panels at Kineticon, but I cannot commit to taking vacation days to doing Kineticon anymore. There's just too many PAXs. We do a lot of PAXs. That really adds up. Like, I can't even deal with PAX Dev every year anymore. So for the first time in more than 10 years, we didn't go to Kineticon, but apparently it went fine. And we may return to do some panels next year. But the next convention we will be performing at will be PAX West.
The real PAX.
The convention. Like, if we had to drop every other convention we go to, this is the last one we would drop. I think the only thing that'll stop us from being at PAX West every year is us dying. So
that'll happen someday.
We will be there doing a panel we've done before.
Who will die first, Rim or PAX West?
I'm pretty sure you're going to die before me, but I'm not sure if PAX will die before me.
I wouldn't bet on that.
I am confident you will die before me. You want to bet? You want to put some money in like an estate escrow?
Yes, because if I die, I don't give a shit about money. So that's the only way I'll lose the bet is if I'm dead.
You want to have a tontine? We both put in $1,000. Whoever dies first, the other person gets it. And all the interest?
No, because then I lose $1,000 now while I'm alive. You can take the
But if you're confident that I'm going to die before you, you're going to get $1,000 plus a high yield investment on that $1,000.
No, this bet means I lose $1,000 no matter what. I need to basically lose no money, and then if I die, I still lose nothing. But if you die, then I get money. So what you should do is you should buy life insurance on yourself for me.
I have a substantial life insurance, but it's not going to you.
That's not fair.
If you give me $1,000, I will also I'll get like $1 million for you too. Sure. Because I'm confident. I'm pretty confident you won't just murder me for the money.
$1 million, you say?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you won't murder me for that. Pretty confident. Also pretty confident you're going to die before me anyway.
I wouldn't have to go to work though.
I am so confident you're going to die before me. But I digress.
Anyone who knows anything about poison, let me know.
At least one of the panels we're doing at PAX West is the 40 tabletop games you must play.
Which we did in the past.
We've done versions of this at other cons.
We did it once.
We've done it twice.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But we've tweaked it a few times. I'm going to tweak it a bunch more. I got some ideas about it. But the reason we're doing it here as a repeat, as opposed to doing a brand new panel, as much as I wanted to do a brand new panel, maybe we'll still do another brand new panel. Stay tuned. But we're actually doing this one in the streaming theater.
Oh my God.
So it's going to live stream on PAX's Twitch.
We got a very bad time slot. It's the very first panel on Monday morning.
Yeah.
When nobody cares, but we're in the official PAX, one of the official PAX streaming rooms. So on one of the 2 or more, I don't know how many PAX streaming Twitch channels, you will be able to see this panel live.
The only things that stream are main theater and the 2 big panel rooms.
So there's 3 channels.
There's 3 channels that
So
stream.
we're probably on, I imagine.
I think we're PAX 2.
We're on the 3rd channel.
We're either PAX 2 or PAX 3.
Okay.
We'll have details later, but that does mean we're going to up the production value of the panel a little bit, and based on the feedback from the last 2 times we ran it, it will be different in some ways, but parts of it are not going to change because they're perfect. Like, I'm not going to take Dune off the list. There's a lot to say about Dune. So, yeah, stay tuned. And otherwise, hopefully we'll see you at PAX Unplugged, PAX South, MagFest.
Yeah, I put out a new episode of Anime Judging.
We judged the summer anime. All of it. We reviewed it all before it came out. So if you want to know what anime to watch, I'm pretty sure we're right about all these shows.
And you trust someone with just going based on gut instinct and almost no knowledge.
I'm actually feeling a lot of the shows. Like, if you watch it, minor spoiler, we're going to give a lot of these shows a couple episodes.
Sure.
Like, we're going to watch a few of them. More so than we have said we'll watch from any season hitherto.
And the book club book is The Odyssey, and I should be able to finish it by Thursday.
Yeah.
The Kindle says I only have like a few hours left, so I can read while
I didn't read any the last weekend because I was busy.
It says I can only have a few hours, so I can just read it before I go to bed. And
Maybe.
it usually overestimates. Like, usually when it says 3 hours, it means...
All right, I'll try to burn through it tonight and tomorrow.
I forget how many hours it said, but it's single digits.
I'll try to burn through it as I'm ready. So most likely Thursday we'll talk about the Odyssey. So read the fucking Odyssey. It's a really important story.
The new
and the translation's really good.
by, what's her name?
Emily Wilson.
Yeah.
Also, follow her on Twitter because when she talks about the Odyssey on Twitter, holy shit, is it great. All right. And if you live anywhere in like the New York area and you are a biker, or even if you're not a biker, but you bike sometimes, like if you could bike 10 or 20 miles.
If you can bike 10 or 20 miles. You just don't think you can, but you totally can.
Yes, especially...
Unless you're like really older and firm or have a problem.
But you could bike 10 or 20 miles where there's like rest stops, cars like following everyone to help you out if there's a problem.
And you have many hours to do it, right? Even if you go slow as balls, right, as slow as my mom, you will make 20-something miles in like, what, 10 hours? But you'll make it.
So this weekend, the Harlem Valley Rail Ride is super goddamn fun.
Right, there are tons of bike rides all over the place, right? Especially around New York, all over the country.
But me, Scott, and Emily will be at this one.
Right, there's tons of organized bike rides, but this one, of the many, that I've done, this one, it was the most luxurious and awesome.
So there is a 23, 33, 45, 57, 72, 80, and 2 different 100-mile routes. We're just going to camp in this field on Saturday, and then on Sunday we're going to do the ride. It's going to be awesome. So if you want to go to this thing, we'll be there. We got nothing to do on Saturday but dick around in upstate New York in this park. Maybe play some games. Maybe go swimming.
Go swim at the lake there.
Yep.
Eat
Hang out with some cows and some horses. It's going to be a good time. We'll be there. So, PUBG.
So PUBG came out. It was a big deal.
It's a real good thing that PUBG didn't come out when we were in college.
Yeah, I didn't pay a lot. I didn't play it right away because it was like this early access game that was getting huge. It was #1 on Steam. It was the biggest deal ever. And I just didn't get into it because it was $50 and I didn't have time to get into it. I was busy.
Yeah, it was. I wanted to play it. And money wasn't even an object. It was just I knew I did not have time to commit to it because PUBG, the best way to describe it, if you don't know anything about PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, it's the hard mode version of Fortnite.
Right.
Even though really Fortnite is the ripoff TF2 of PUBG.
Right. So
but
if you don't know, it's an FPS, and the way it works is a whole bunch of people get thrown onto a map, which is a giant map. And
between 90 and 100 people.
It's
usually.
an island, yeah, and you basically go around collecting armor, weapons, ammo, vehicles, whatever you need. And then when you meet people, you fucking murder them or be murdered by them. And the last person alive is the winner, and they get the chicken dinner.
Yep. So here's the deal. The maps...
Just like Battle Royale, the movie, only with more people.
So the things, the important points about this game are that, one, this is an old school FPS. This is one of those games.
It's not old school.
What do you mean old school then?
So
What's your
old school is Quake where everything's fast, right? This is not
That's not the aspect of old school because there were slow FPSs back then too.
Right, but those FPS, like there were old FPSs like that, were like maps were mazes.
So here I'll clarify.
Right? This is one of those. This is a military fanboy.
I'll clarify.
FPS,
This is
Arma.
This is old school mod type FPSs because old school mods of FPSs like those Quake 1 and Quake 2 mods and Mega TF and all that nonsense, they were characterized by having a million fucking buttons you could bind to a million different complicated
things. This doesn't
things.
have that many.
Yeah, it does. You just don't know about all of them.
This is just a military fanboy FPS.
You didn't even know you could hold your breath.
People cared about realistic weapon stuff and, you know, actual instead of hit scan bullets, they're actually like ballistic and they have to.
But it's a game where you can just start playing, but eventually you're going to start looking up the keys to hit to do complicated things you didn't even know you could do, like change how the sights work on a gun.
Yep.
Like you can bind a key, like you can crouch, you can lay prone, you can crawl, you can lean. I don't lean yet. I feel like I should start leaning.
Leaning is pretty important.
Yeah, I don't lean at all. It's a problem. It's got melee. It's got all sorts of nonsense. There's a lot of buttons and a lot of stuff to learn before you can actually be good at it at all. Like, so on one hand, it's like Counter-Strike, semi-realistic weapons and like super dead, like one bullet will pretty much just take you out.
Sort of. It has this, that's one of the, it's weird, right? Because fundamentally, right, and if you look at the big picture of this game, right, I love it and I knew I would, right, which is why I played it when it went on sale.
Yep.
After we, and especially, you know, seeing the creator of the game at the PAX East keynote reaffirmed, like, oh right, yes, everything I thought about this game was correct. I would.
His keynote was great. He's really smart, and he talked a lot about like why he made this game.
Right, but so on the big picture of the game, everything is like totally awesome, right? You parachute onto this island. The parachuting is way fun, and it's one of the only things I'm okay at.
Especially because like you parachute down.
I only mess up if it's a parachute really far away from the plane.
But then you look around and you're like, oh, good, I'm by myself. Or sometimes you're parachuting and you see like a bunch of other people parachuting to the same spot.
I've been playing squad only. I stopped playing by myself.
I like all modes.
Playing by myself is lame.
I like playing by myself. I also like playing with squads.
Self is lame. Anyway, but then, right, you go around and collect stuff, and it's all like you're exploring this map. It's all kinds of fun. You're collecting loot. You're, you know, getting better weapons, configuring your guns. You know, that's way fun. Especially, it's like this. It's big. It's like it's so big. You got this, like, for example,
one of the maps, that desert map. Like, if you don't get a car, like, you just can't get to the other side of the map.
No,
it's too far away.
Not only is it big, but like you go into a building. There's buildings that are like multiple stories with like tons of rooms in them. It's like, yes.
Like, it's hyper realistic.
Just one building in this game will be as big as like a whole Counter-Strike map.
Yeah. So imagine like that feeling alone is really fun. Like this giant
bigger
map.
than Tribes. Tribes isn't even big.
So you look at the map and you're thinking about your strategy. Like, should I go head toward that city?
You should just make Tribes with a PUBG mode.
Should I go head for that city? There's probably a lot of people there. Maybe I'll just cut through the woods.
There's better
here.
loot there, though.
Yeah, I'll cut through the woods. I won't find any loot, but this is a weird remote part of the map. There's going to be no one out here. Or I'm literally just, I land on this island by myself and get a jet ski and leave the island when I'm ready.
Yep. But anyway, so then there's a circle that appears, and the circle is what makes it interesting because there's only a few maps, right? One's the new one is like a small one.
Well, there's two things that are important here. There's the circle, and there's the random plane route.
Right. Well, so the flight that everyone jumps off of with a parachute is different every time, and it's hard to fly far away from the plane in your parachute. So people start in generally along that line.
So the map starts. You look at the map. There's 100 people with you on the plane, and you decide when are you going to jump off the plane. And when you're on the plane, you'll see like a seating chart, and you'll see people disappear as they jump off the plane.
Yep.
It's like it goes over the military base, a million people jump out.
So the starting distribution of players is different every time.
Yep.
It's more dense along the line, more dense in the cities with lots of loot.
Yep.
And then there's a circle that appears once you're on the ground, and if you're outside that circle, when the time runs out, then this electric fence that's like virtual electric fence will come in, and if you're outside of that circle, when the fence comes in, you start taking damage. damage and eventually die.
The circle appears in a random location.
And then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller at intervals. And those smaller...
And the center of each one of those is also in a random location within the current circle.
Yeah, so basically the game is different every time, even though it's on the same enormous map, because A, the map is enormous, B, you're starting in a different place, and C, the circles are different, which shows like as the game goes on, it's like, all right, well, the game is ending this time like in the water or on a bridge. And then this time the game is like everyone's, coalescing around this building or this maybe big city the game ends on, or just in the woods is what happens most of the time, right? Or this rock formation. And that really changes how the game goes based on the terrain that everyone's being forced into, or at least the survivors are forced into.
Yep. Now, at close and moderate range, like in a firefight, it's very Counter-Strikey in terms of the skills.
Yep.
But the firefight, because Counter-Strike as a game starts at the point the firefight broke out, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're already really close to someone. Like, even if you just spawn in Counter-Strike and you're both at your spawn points, you are hella close.
Yeah.
If you're that close in PUBG, like, you're gonna die.
Like, PUBG is a game where, like, you're walking through the woods, you hear one gunshot in the distance, you're like, where's that?
Yep.
What's going on?
Someone's nearby. They'll be here soon.
Like, you hear a bunch of gunfire, and, like, some people play, like, scavengers. Like, they hear a bunch of gunfire, and they start creeping in to catch someone looting. Like, there's a lot of dynamics. But the real strategies in the game come down more to things like real-world overland movement and, like, really realistic tactics. Seeing someone else before they say you matters way more than your Counter-Strike head-clicking skills.
Yep. I mean, people will do stuff like they'll stay inside the wall as it comes in, and then they'll aim outwards.
Yep.
And because they know
I've gotten a lot of kills by being along a road.
They know that people
map.
are coming from that city, and because they have to run, those people didn't make it to the circle in time. They're coming in from that general direction. We'll shoot them as they come in.
My favorite thing that ever happened is there was
another strategy is we know people are going to camp there to shoot people as they come in. Let's go shoot them.
Yep. Or
in the back because they're looking outwards.
There's a fire watchtower up there, and it's in a good spot. I'm pretty sure someone's camping up there doing what we just described. Let's toss a little grenade up there, and I hear it explode, and someone's just dead. Good game.
Yeah, there are how many times I've been like in a building, and I'm pretty sure no one knows I'm in here, as I haven't moved or made any noise.
Yep.
A grenade comes in the window. It's like, well, all right, so do I attempt to run, revealing that I'm in here, and then run out the front door where I will be shot? Or do I like try to sit here and survive the grenade?
Still make no noise.
Even if I survive the grenade, I'm now damaged, and they come in and shoot me. Even though maybe I can get some shots on them that way. It's like, it's like that kind of thing.
Yep. So it means the game is really more about things like literally managing your time.
Can you pick up a grenade and throw it back?
I have no idea. It's pretty rare that I get a grenade thrown at me, so I haven't really interacted with them in that level that much.
It happened to me a lot when I would just camp in houses. Now that I run around, it doesn't happen as much.
But so the like threat assessment, like you're driving along the road and you see some houses up in the distance, like you got to think about what if someone's in that building? Will they do anything to me? Do they care? Or are they because they're just as afraid of me as I am of them, probably.
Well,
like,
not if they're good.
Yeah, it depends, but they're
I feel like
probably
the
hoping
good
I'll just drive
players
by.
are going around hunting everyone and aren't afraid at all.
Yeah.
But I'm basically afraid of everybody.
I'm trying to hunt people more, and I'm having fun with that.
I've been playing in squads more, because then when I get in a squad with good people, they carry me.
But you're thinking of things like, so I got to get inside the circle. Where do I go? Like, you're pulling up the map. If you're playing with a squad, usually, like, someone's got the map up, like, and picking waypoints, like, all right, we're going to head here, we're going to head here.
Yeah,
well, someone else is, like, covering
the team
you.
Stuff. That's the thing. Is the team stuff is so fun. You can put waypoints on the map, and then your friends can see that on their map, and you can sort of, communicate really nicely.
So let's talk about that. There's a few ways to play. There's a third-person mode, but fuck that noise.
No.
Don't play third person.
I've heard the third person is, like, the way to win. But at least they keep their third-person perspective people separate from the first-person.
Yeah, I tried it. It's not fun. It just feels really...
I didn't even try it.
It's really not fun.
I'm only an FPS person.
But, so, you can play solo, which is fun in its own way. It's just 100 people, last man standing
Solo,
wins.
I think, is more fun if you're actually good.
Yeah, it's also
but it's very unnerving because you're just alone.
But it's also
time.
It's a good way to learn sort of basic skills like.
No, I didn't learn a lot doing solo because I just died. But when I played in a team, people could tell me stuff and would give me pointers.
I just read some wikis and I started playing solo and I started getting like. I'm not saying I'm good, but I can usually make it to the last 10 or 15.
I can make it to the last.
But not
really.
But
easily.
I make it there. I don't just hide and then get killed.
Make it very far by hiding.
I kill a few people along the way, and I take risks. I take a lot of risks because the game's not fun if you don't take risks.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want? You're playing a game, and what do? You spend your time crouched in a closet, and then you die.
The trouble is,
what did you just do for 20 minutes?
When I'm getting really close to the end,
point?
like one time, like
how was that fun?
There were only 5 other people left alive, and the circle was getting real small. So I was in the second story of a building that was right on the edge of the circle. I just hit up there prone. I wasn't fucking gonna move, and I was just gonna hope, and grenade came in through the window.
Yep,
that was the end of me.
That's how happens when you camp in a building. Grenade comes in the window.
Nope. But you can also play 2-player, like duo squad.
Yeah, you can do 2 people. You can do 3, 4.
2 people.
4 is the default.
Scott and I stream 2 people. And that's pretty fun because it's very you can do basic, simple tactics like I'll cover the windows on this building while you go in, or I'll look at the map while you're covering me, like that kind of stuff.
But 4 people is really where it's at. It's just great to have 4 people. You know, you don't get outnumbered by some bigger squad.
Yep, 4 people is. I've only played 4 people a few times. It's real fun.
I played 4 people the most.
Once
I realized you don't actually need. At first I thought you needed to bring 3 friends.
Oh no, you can join.
You can just join a random group of 4 people. Once I learned that, that's all I do.
Yep, but 4 people is especially fun when you play with friends. Because 4 people, like you're on voice chat and you're just playing the game.
It's fun when you play with friends, or you randomly get put with people who are actually good. But I actually was worried I'd get put with like shitheads from the internet, but that actually hasn't happened.
I think a big part of it.
I've usually been with like good people. I haven't had any awful experiences, but then again, I'm a dude.
Yeah, that is true. But I have noticed. I think part of that is that there is a pretty high barrier to entry for this game. Like, imagine if you'd never played like Counter-Strike or like those kinds of games, and you'd never played those army like super realistic games, and you've only ever played like Call of Duty. You're fucked if you try to play this game.
Yeah,
like you're not gonna have a good time.
So I mean, you know, it's not necessarily a negative, but like, the only negative things I see in this game is simply that I don't like the military, realism stuff.
I do
so
a lot.
I just I like more. I don't want it to be so simple and arcadey like it's Team Fortress 2, but I like the Counter-Strike level of the way weapons work, where I don't want to have to adjust the sights and worry about this ballistic shit. It's like if I click on someone, I should shoot them, right? It's like, come on.
Yeah,
so
I like that realism.
I mean, I understand it. I understand that other people like it. It's just a matter of taste.
Well, I would argue here's the main reason.
It is not my preference.
Here's the reason why it needs to be that way. In Counter-Strike, the sniper rifles were way too dangerous, and the only reason they worked is because you can't get that far away from people.
I think it would be cool if they just
a Counter-Strike style AWM in this game where you could just click and it'll always kill the person.
Yep. I think it would be cool. Just don't have sniper rifles. Scopes you can see, but no guns that are actually any accurate at that range.
No, I like the fact that sniper rifles exist because sniping, like, you can interact with this game in very different ways, but you can't necessarily specialize because every game is so different that even if you want to snipe, like sniping's really fun, or interacting with snipers is really fun. Like sometimes, like a sniper takes a pot shot at me and misses, and then it's a game of me trying to
figure out where the hell they are.
Figure out where they are, serpentine, get out of sight, like get over a ridge, and then it's not like now I gotta go kill them. It's, well, I got away from the sniper. Good luck, have fun, sniper. I will probably never encounter you again.
There's stuff going on there, but I just the realistic weapon shit is not for me. It's for military fanboys.
Yeah, but I also like there's so much to this game, like vehicles, because the maps are so big.
The vehicles are just fine.
So you can literally like get in a car and drive it around with your friends, or like a jet ski. There's so many different vehicles.
The other thing is like the inventory stuff. It's like, it's all right. You need to have some amount of inventory thing because part of the game is about going and getting loot and like upgrading your weapons and stuff, right? But it's just like the complexity of it is just like one smidge too much. right? To where it's like, oh, you got to have the right bullets for that gun.
I like that though,
and then you have to remember which bullets go with which gun. They don't help you out.
No, because if you're holding a weapon, if you have one, then it shows the silhouette of the weapon when you look at the thing on the ground.
It's not. It's still. It
What do
helps
you mean
you a
still?
little bit. I can't. I didn't even know that because, and I've been
Really?
playing it for. Yeah, it's like.
See, I like
and
this.
I don't even know what the hell's. Like, what gun do I even holding? Right? It's like you have to be a military fanboy to know. Oh, I'm holding the. Tell an M4 apart from an M16 and know what kind of ammo they take.
So if you don't know that stuff, which is weird that I know some of that stuff, the easy way is if it shows a silhouette, pick it up. One of your guns uses it.
Yes, I didn't even notice. But anyway, the point is.
But I like that element because here's a counterpoint: you can't pause the game. It's PUBG. It's live. You're just going.
Yep.
So, like the real world, imagine if you literally were teleported, like jumped out of a plane naked into a town you've never been to, ran into a house, you hear gunfire outside, and on the ground is a pile of guns and bullets. Mm-hmm. You got to really balance your time between carefully picking up the right things you want versus grab a bunch of shit, get somewhere safe, figure it out later. I like that aspect a lot. I've been killed a couple times fucking around in my inventory when I thought I was safe.
Yeah, that happens often, right? I do like, getting killed fucking around in your inventory.
Or watching someone else kill someone, wait for them to go loot the body, they're fucking around in the inventory.
There are still ways you can keep that aspect without of, oh my god, I'm fucking around my inventory while I have a shot, without having to be a military fanboy and know which ammo goes with which gun.
But you don't need to. The game literally just tells you.
It's not super elegant.
I think it actually is. I'm really surprised you didn't notice that.
It's not super elegant or obvious.
I think the way they did is actually pretty elegant because it keeps the realism, but it gives you very clear indicators of you can use
I'm saying get rid of the realism. Fuck realism. But I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, you just want to be some Fortnite kid is what you want.
No, I don't. That's too stupid a game. I need to be Counter-Strike level where let me pick up the ammo like Quake where I shouldn't have to touch
When was the last time you played Counter-Strike?
At least a year ago.
You want to play Counter-Strike?
No.
I still play Counter-Strike.
I want to play Counter-Strike where I parachute out of a big plane onto a giant map, and then I play Counter-Strike, and only one person survives.
Yeah. Anyway, I like PUBG a lot.
It's great.
Here's the other things that are important about this game. Because of all the factors we talked about, irrespective of Scott's complaints about the military fanboyism.
It's not bad. They do a good job of it. It's just that's not for me. But I still play the game because all the other parts outweigh that one thing.
Like everything's pretty tight, and there's a lot of complexity that you don't have to engage with if you really don't want to. Like,
well, you're not gonna win if you don't.
You'll do well,
but I'm not
you
gonna
won't
win. I'm not gonna win anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But I guess it's a game where losing and winning are pretty much equally fun once you get above the point of you just die immediately and don't know why, naked in the wilderness. Mm-hmm. Like once you get past that point, losing at this game is actually super fun.
Yeah, I really don't give a shit about, I've never won and I don't really care, right? It's like in Counter-Strike, if you just keep losing and losing and losing, eventually you want to quit and find a different team. In PUBG, I expect to lose, I lose, and I don't care. I just keep playing.
The emergent stories, the emergent gameplay, the narratives of winning and losing, like this game is such a triumph in that regard. Mm-hmm. Like literally every game of this I play
is completely different from every other previous
game. It has
game.
at least one story to where like if I'm hanging out with people who have also played PUBG, I can tell the story and it's usually funny or interesting in some way. And not many games can generate that consistent level of interesting stories.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the only games that don't really have much of a story are the ones where you land in the hotbed area and die right away.
Yeah, or occasionally,
but if I've landed in the hotbed area and not died right away, and then a good game happens.
Yep.
And the other thing is, like, you be playing, and then you won't even realize, like, you're just playing and playing and playing.
You look, oh shit, there's only 10 people.
And then it's like, oh my god, look how small that fucking circle is, and you don't even realize that, like, you're now entering the danger zone.
Or because you're like, I had one game where it just so happened that the circle was basically following me. So I was basically always in the center of the circle.
That circle is what, even though you're on the same map doing the same exact thing with over and over again, the random circle, the random plane flight change the game so much every time is completely different. And it's like relative to where you happen to land, right? It's like even though, you get a different circle every time, but your landing spot is different. Maybe the circle keeps focusing on you. You don't move around a lot that game. You just sort of chill out.
Yep, like you load up with like close range weapons and you hole up somewhere where the grenades can't get in through the window.
Right. Some other game you play, the circle appears real far away from you, and now your whole game is like this journey to get over there without dying.
Now your game is like, oh fuck, I need a car. Like you see a car coming down the road, and like brigands, you try to like fucking kill the people in the car and steal it.
Yep. Your car can run out of gas. You got to get more gas for it.
This was like one of the most fun I ever had. I was playing solo, and I was in the big desert map, and like the circle just started I started on the edge of the map, and the circle was the opposite side. Like I'm fucked. There's no cars or anything near me, and then a car from a little bit even further away, like to the north, comes driving by on the road, and I see the car coming, and I take some pot shots, and rather than just ignore me, dude stops and gets out of the car.
Why?
And he comes after me. So I just sneak out of the building and like sneak all the way around and get to the car, and I see why he got out of it. It was mostly out of gas. I had a gas can. I filled it up. I drove away, and just as I get in the car and start driving away, I hear a machine gun open up, and the dude is in the window of the building, clearly panicking because the fact that I got his car means there's no way he will make it to the circle, and I basically killed him. That was so fun. Like, the bullets are bouncing off the back of the car, and I'm just trying to get away, and I totally got away.
Yep, crazy shit like that happens. It's like epic stories, like every single time you play and live for more than 10 seconds.
Yep.
Which is why, you know, it's like, all right, I'll put up with some military fanboyism for that.
I tend to
it's not the most extreme military fanboyism I've seen.
So if you're okay at the game, games last between 10 and 20 minutes. Like, that's about how long you're in there.
Yep.
When you first start,
and the thing is, you don't have to chill out while the game finishes. You can just leave and join a new one.
Yeah, basically, when you die, you have two options. You can either start spectating and like watch the person who killed you and see if they make it, because I did that a couple times.
Or watch the rest of your team if they're still alive.
Yep, it's real satisfying when like you get killed and you feel salty about it, but then you see that the person who killed you is like a super expert who goes on to win the entire thing, and you were just one of many that they took out. Or you can watch the death cam, and it shows all the context that led up to your death, like the person who killed you, and it's way earlier in the timeline than you might expect.
I think it's like 30 seconds before you died. Or something. It's some amount of time. It shows the person who killed you, their perspective for like X seconds up until the point you died.
It's pretty cool. So like literally, like one of the ones I watch is I see this guy like fucking around in his inventory and like just dicking around in this house, and then he hears a gunshot. That's me, because I fired a shot at something. And then you see him like look and then creep over to the window and like lean, and he sees naked rims like off in the distance, and then he like leans again, and he keeps like lean, like looking, and when he's confident that I don't know he's there, then he very, very carefully like gets his gun out, fucks with his sight, aims at my head, like holds his breath, and just headshots me. And I didn't see any of that. As far as I was concerned, it was naked rim is walking through the woods and no one knows he's there. It's such a fun game. It's definitely, do not buy it unless you think you'll have enough time to play it, though.
Yeah, like you have to basically like, there are other games I have that I'm playing like every day, but like PUBG I can only play like if it's, now I have hours to sit down and play games right now, and no one's here and I got nothing to do. It's game time. If you have time like that where it's game time, where you're going to make it a thing at least once a week, then you can buy this game, but otherwise, don't. Also, the game has microtransactions, loot crate shit.
Cosmetic, just ignore them.
It's 100% cosmetic, so I am buying absolutely none of it. I think there was actually, you know, Twitch Prime, you get all this free stuff. There's like a dead mouse PUBG thing you can get for free right now. I'm not even getting that free loot crate that I get for free. Maybe I'll get it and not open it.
For now, even though it's a disadvantage, I'm just being naked. I didn't even put on the default clothes.
Yeah, I'm using the default clothes, and I'll never use non-default clothes. And that's just how it's going to be.
I'm going to commit to being naked.
I'll see how much PUBG money I can accrue and never spend.
Because someday, if I ever win a match, it'll be that fucking naked guy.
Do you get more PUBG money if you win? I don't even know how it works.
I don't know.
Speaking of, I forgot one awesome thing about this game. There were two awesome things about the game. Number one there's this red circle that appears in the map sometimes.
Oh, yeah, and just bombs fall out of the sky.
If you're in that red circle and you're not in a building, bombs and shit fall out of the sky, so you kind of want to not go in the red circles, and it sort of creates interesting player movements, right? Especially it tends to... It's
Dude,
random.
I was in a game where the red circle appeared over a city, so me and the rando squad...
Everyone starts running out of the
Yep,
city.
we camped outside the city, and they got flushed out by the bombs. We killed like 4 people. It was awesome.
The other thing is that there's this, sometimes the airplane comes and drops a crate. When the airplane drops a crate, it parachutes down. It's a red box, and then smoke comes out of it. That red crate is full of the best loot, like level 3 armors, level 3 helmets, guns you can't get anywhere else.
It's also a giant sign saying, hey, nubs are going to run toward this thing and be very easy to kill.
Right, so like... There have been, you think, oh, Scott, who's not good at the game and never will be, would never go anywhere near a deadly crate. But actually, there have been like 2 or 3 times where like I've been on a team, the crate just lands near us, like,
Yep.
Or the crate lands kind of near us, and then we go and camp and see if anyone goes for it and then shoot at them. It's like the crate, it creates like these events of awesomeness that happen in these individual places. If you're not in the center of the action, suddenly, here's a hot spot of action near this crate full of loot. So, it mixes it up. And I wish they would, I think the game could actually do with like just one more thing that could happen on the map besides the red circle in the crate. Just like a third thing that would be, 4 would be too many. But just like a third special event that could happen on the map randomly, just to stir things up a little bit,
Yeah, there's some weathery stuff. Like, there's stuff like that.
Yeah, the weather is different every time. The weather moves along, but the weather only matters a little bit.
It depends. Like, in a rainstorm, people can't hear you. Like, you can book it.
Fog, no one can see you. Anyway. But yeah, it's a good old FPS.
I'm gonna keep playing it semi-regularly for a long time, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's going anywhere. It's still super popular.
Yeah, it's like a weekend thing or like an evening thing. Like, I'll play Overwatch every day, but I'll play this like every weekend at least. All right, that was a good show.